Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is November 3rd, 2017, and today is Friday morning. So we're looking at the economic news of the day. Few couple of really important things coming out today. First, we have a 12:30 South African time GBP number coming out. It's a services PMI number. In light of yesterday, it's a very small number to really, be discussing, but just know that it is coming out. So if there are any surprises, you're forewarned. And then at 3:30, two major numbers coming out. NFP coming out of the United States. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. And we have also a CAD unemployment number and a bunch of other things coming out for the Canadian dollar as well at the same time. So these are the major events of the day. And let's take a look at the market and see what's been happening. We're going to start out with the Euro USD, and it's been really a quiet week for the Euro USD. We're trading at 116.58 after our debacle from last week. If there are any surprises today in the dollar, okay, it's going to be affected on the Euro USD. But we're pretty much, flatlined here. Looking at a longer term chart, you could see here on a daily chart that, just this little consolidation really is just there to give us like a little bit of a foundation, a little bit of a buffer in terms of, finally correcting itself from this 122-ish level, and then finally coming down to this 116-ish level. So, there's not much I could say here besides the fact that we've pretty much flatlined here in the Euro USD unless we make some sort of massive correction on the bottom side, which I don't think will happen, okay? But you should, you always need to have the possibility that it can happen even though you have that perspective. So let's see how the number comes out on the NFP. The Dow Jones, the DAX, the indices across the world are very, very strong, breaking new highs. So that's something to keep a note of when we're looking at the dollar. The dollar has gotten stronger, over the years. But with the Dow Jones making new highs, I'm expecting some sort of correction for the dollar as well. So I would look for some sort of bounce here at a certain point for our correction. Looking at the GBP USD from yesterday's rate decision, unfavorable, okay, very unfavorable, and you could see that posted with this nice nosedive. But again, okay, I'm not a big fan of going into a number with a position, but looking at the charts, we were at resistance, okay, we were close to the resistance line. Have we held it, from our initial resistance position that we had gone in, closed a little bit of it, maybe gotten a little bit more aggressive, you need a buffer. That's basically what I'm saying to you. And if you had this buffer right here, it would have been a fantastic opportunity to make this, massive correction from 132.90-ish level to 130.50-ish level. Okay, so that's a major correction for the GBP USD. Looking forward, we're at the bottom of our next range. Okay, so we're still trading in the range. Nothing has changed in terms of our range, right? We're between this 130.32-ish level and 132.95-ish level, and that's something that you got to keep into perspective. So at some point, I'd look for some sort of a bounce here, and let's see if we do get that confirmation for a bounce. The commodities have been relatively quieter this week. Okay, we receded from our 1,280-ish level to 1,275-ish level this week. So, I mean, it's been in a relatively tight range. Now, the major player right here is the Dow Jones. Okay, the Dow Jones made new highs on its dead highs again. Okay, so it's really hard to say which direction we're going to be going, especially with NFP, being so strong over the past quarters, and that's been reflected in what's been happening in the market. So let's see if we do get that higher high today and we do break higher into this weekend, first week of November. So that's something to keep an eye on. DAX still very strong, receding just a little bit, as you can see here, but altogether it's on its dead highs. So no correction necessarily in sight. Okay, just because we're on all-time highs, it's not a high probability trade to actually buy here or sell here, because your all-time highs, you're more likely to make new highs. Okay, but at the same time, people could be booking their profits, so on and so forth. So I mentioned this in the previous daily reviews from last week and the previous week. If people are buying, the Dow Jones at 23,000, they're expecting it to go to 23,500. If people are buying at 23,500, they're expecting it to go to 24,000, so on and so forth. So, if anybody's buying it at 13,500 here, then they're expecting it to go to 14,000. But the question is whether or not that's really solid, and how much further, can this continuation actually go? So you need to get some confirmation, especially with volume. And we got the breakout, okay, but right here at this 13,500 level, how much further are we going to go? That's the major question. And it's really hard to, anticipate, and really hard to take positions in it. With that said, okay, there are definitely opportunities intraday to scalp or to take shorter term trades, with the market fluctuations. And, this lends itself to a much, greater volatility. And as traders, that's what you're looking for. So with that said, today, NFP number coming out at 3:30 South African time. Be aware of it. Okay, you may want to trade the correctional move after it, okay, which is a higher probability trade. But definitely be aware that if you do have some positions opens, that there are this major number coming out today. This is Fred Razak, and I want to wish you guys a great trading day and a good weekend. Thank you.